I'm Erin. I'm the founder of Alkalign. We focus on functional fitness and training in a way that helps you live a better life without any aches and pains. And speaking of aches and pains, one of the biggest things that ails people is back pain. So I wanted to show you a couple simple things you can do to help your back pain, and it involves a set of yoga tune-up balls. This is one of our most favorite tools to use at Alkalign. We use it in all sorts of ways, but this in particular is the alpha set, and we're going to use this to roll our hip flexors and our low back. Your hip flexors and your low back go together. So the hip flexors, their psoas muscle, is sort of the anterior version of your QL, which is a back body muscle. And when either of those is out of balance, it can cause back pain. So what you need for this is a set of these balls. If you don't have them, you can find them on our website or on Amazon. We're also going to use a squishy ball. This is just a sort of standard Pilates squishy ball, and this is the actual Yoga Tune-Up brand Gorgeous ball. Either will work great. And what I would advise against is using anything harder than this, like a softball, a cricket ball, a lacrosse ball, or I've even seen people post about using the end of a weight in their hip flexors. It seems too hard, and it could actually damage your tissues. So we're going to start with a squishy ball underneath your abdominals like so. If you're new to abdominal rolling, this could be a little bit sensitive. This is a sensitive area. It can also be a game changer. So the way you want to kind of connect your brain and body is with your breath. So you're going to inhale, tighten your abdominals like you're bracing against a foreign object in your abdominals, which you are. And then you're going to exhale, release, and let that foreign object, which is a soft, squishy ball, a friendly, soft, squishy ball, absorb into your abdominals. So inhale, tighten, brace against it, exhale. And once you get into this, first time you do anything, first few times you do anything, it's awkward. As you get into it, your body will be more receptive. You'll be less suspicious of anything you are putting on it. Just do that a few times. And then rock a bit side to side. If you've had any recent abdominal surgeries or you have a separated abdominal diastasis recti, you can email us for other options, but it's not advised that you would do this when you are fresh out of, surgery or something. Okay. Set the ball aside. So you've just done a little bit of a mini roll. Take your forehead down, curl your left heel in, and reach back. See if you can take a hold of your ankle without obnoxiously reaching for it. Drop your tailbone down, push your ankle, the top of your foot up into your hand, and notice where you feel that. Do you feel that up in your hip flexors? Is that more quadriceps? Are you feeling any tugging or pulling in your knee? Notice if your knee's out to the side or if it's energized in towards your center line. And then switch sides. If you can't take a hold of your ankle, that's information as well. These are just checks. Good. And then go ahead and push yourself up. And if you've got a stable surface or a yoga block, something you can put your hands on, I'll have both. Step your right foot forward. You're going to drop your left hip down, squeeze your glutes, and notice how much length you have from your knee to your hip. For example, if you curled your heel in, where do you feel that? And if you reach back, can you take a hold of your ankle, or is it back there? You don't ever want to shift onto your knee and do this kind of action to take a hold of the ankle. So just notice where it is. Okay. You also probably will feel a little stretchier. Then set your foot down. Keep your right hand either on your stable surface or your right thigh. Reach your left arm up. Take a little side stretch. Where do you feel that? Do you feel that here? Do you feel that here? This is all information. We call these checks. And then switch sides. Bring your left foot forward. Drop your right hip down. Squeeze your glutes. Curl your heel in. Notice where your ankle is. By the way, I think the only reason why I can touch my ankle here is because we just did that couple moments of abdominal rolling. Normally, I cannot touch my ankle here. And then shift, reach your right arm up and shift up and over to the left. Now notice if there's a difference between one side and the other. Oh. And then coming up, sweep your legs around and come into an all fours position. We're gonna do a little cat-cow. Take an inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. Take an inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. One more time, inhale, extend. Exhale, notice where that lights up for you, if anywhere, and then come back to neutral. Wag your hips side to side like you're a puppy dog with a tail, and you're moving that tail side to side. All right, and then come on down. We're going to replace this squishy ball with one of these alpha balls. If you don't have one, these sell in sets like smaller sizes. You can use one of those. I really honestly find that this single ball is the best tool, at least for my body. And you're going to put that right. I'll show you, right. You can do one side or two. Let's do two. That'll be a little bit less intense, especially if you're new to this. You need to take the two balls out of the toe, and you're going to find your hip bones. So your ASIS, these are those bony protrusions. You're going to take the balls to the inside of the hip. I always think of this as like a holster, right? Like I'm going to draw. So balls go to the inside of the hips. If this is too intense when you get there, have that squishy ball available as an option. And then you're going to lie down on your abdominals, prop yourself up just like you did when the squishy ball is underneath you. Instead of this being right smack dab under your belly button, it's a little bit out, but not down in your hip crease. Inhale, tighten. Exhale, release. Just let gravity do the work here. And then we're going to try something called a contract release. You're going to draw your tailbone down and then release. You're going to tip your tailbone, tilting your hips and release. Tilt your hips and release. So what happens is when we sit a lot at a desk, in a car, on a bike, whatever it is, that hip flexion, the shortening of the front body, tugs and pulls on your back body. So a lot of times your back pain is actually related to tight hip flexor muscles. So the symptom isn't always the source. And in this case, I have found with so many of my clients, they roll their back, they roll their back, they roll their back. Rolling your back is great. It feels great and it's not going to hurt. But they feel frustrated because they're not making any progress. Their back pain isn't going away. And oftentimes it's because the root cause is not their back. The root cause is in the hip flexors. So I am someone who has very sensitive hip flexors. If I'm in the car a little bit longer than I am normally, or if I'm traveling on an airplane or something like that, I definitely feel it. I feel my hip flexors tighten up, and I definitely travel with the balls so I can always roll and rebalance my body. And the stretch we did at the beginning and that we will do again at the end is another good way to re-lengthen your front body, balance things out. Okay, so you could do that one side at a time. It would be a little bit more intense. It also takes twice as long. And now we're going to flip over. I'll show you where we're going. We're going to put the balls right here, basically the same position, but in your back. So you're not down in your glutes. You're not up in your ribs or in your kidneys. You're going to go right here on either side of your spine. This is your QL, your quadratus lumborum. Go and lie down on your back. You're going to bridge your hips up and then move your hips side to side. So you're doing what we call cross fibering your QL. Your QL runs from the top of your pelvis to the bottom of your rib cage. And as I mentioned, when you spend a lot of time in hip flexion, your front body is shortened. It tugs and pulls. The visual I always think about is like a bungee cord that's too short. So you can't actually, connect the other side of the bungee cord. If you've ever tried to like strap something onto the roof of your car or close something with a bungee cord, you just can't get enough. That's what happens with the QL, right? Things are just kind of too taut, and then it causes pain. You can also move the balls up just a smidge. You're right underneath your ribs. Sometimes I'm more tender right at the top of my pelvis. Sometimes I'm a little more tender underneath my ribs. And if you want to add a little something to this, you can lift one leg and go side to side. You can also remove one ball. So the side that I'm rolling is the side of the leg I've lifted. A little more intense, a little more pressure. You've distributed the load differently. You've taken the weight out of your right foot and put more load into your right side. If you like that option, you can take it on the other side. The beauty of this is it doesn't take a huge amount of time. You can make huge progress in just, 3 or 4 minutes of your day. It's all about the consistency, just the gentle consistency of incorporating this into your life. These particular rolling sequences we're doing, you can do them while you're watching TV. When you're prone looking down, you can be checking your phone, scrolling through your emails. It's just sometime anyway. Like, we spend so much time on our phones, get out the balls and do some rolling while you're, posting to your Instagram or, shopping for your groceries, whatever it is you're doing, cleaning out your junk email. All right, go ahead and set the balls to the side. If you're thinking, wow, wait, that's it, feel free to continue on. All right, and now we are going to go back into the stretch to start. So bring your right foot forward, line your knee over your ankle, slide your leg back, drop your hip down. So get that stretch to the front of your hip, curl your heel in, reach back, take a hold of your ankle. See if your ankle is any closer than it was or if it feels any better. We rolled here. We did not roll your quadriceps. So oftentimes what happened for me is I feel a lot more open here, and now I'm actually noticing my quads are pretty tight. It's like as soon as it's a little bit game of whack-a-mole. As soon as you take care of one thing, something else lights up. And then set your foot down and shift up and over. Take a side stretch to the right and then switch sides. So left leg forward. How do you know if you have apples to apples in your setup for the check and the recheck? Make sure your knees align, slide your leg back, make sure you're off of your kneecap so you're not on that bony part of your leg. Curl your heel in, reach back. Again, I feel really tight through my quads here, but very open through my hip flexors. So if I were doing this, on my own, the next thing I would roll would be my quads. And then set your leg down, reach your right arm up, reach up and over to the left. And then come down to the ground, curl your left heel in. Notice how that feels. Switch to the right, drop your tailbone down. And then push up to all fours. Inhale, extend, exhale, flex. Just notice if your spine is sliding and gliding a little bit better. If anything feels sticky or stuck, and you can wag your tail side to side. We're gonna finish in a child's pose, which is a low back stretch. Open your knees wide, sit your hips back on your heels, turn your palms up, give yourself a little pat in the back. Give yourself some credit for clicking play on this video and learning something new about yourself and how you can hopefully reduce back pain. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out. I can be contacted at Erin@alkalignstudios.com.